welcome. I am Wilson-Felis. This is a beginner yoga class for Yoga Studio Satya. So welcome in, and as always, make sure to honor your body during this next hour. Make sure to listen to all of those sensations that happen within the muscles and the tendons and your bones. Today I'd like to start with a mudra, as I usually do. And today is something, I've been working with the energies of the body, and so last week I did a lot of uplifting energy, the pranic energy, which lifts upward. And so today I'd like to create balance and do the grounding energy, which is known as Apana. And so the mudra for that is pretty simple. You're going to connect your thumb to your middle finger and your ring finger. And so your index finger and your pinky finger are connected. You're kind of rocking out. You know what I'm saying?
Some horns.
Yeah, some horns, yeah. So that's the Apana mudra. And so you can just rest the backs of your hands onto your thighs or your knees if you'd like, or you can hold them up like horns if you need. And so we're going to relax those shoulders back and down with the spine naturally aligned here. And so we'll start to ground ourselves. You can sit however you're comfortable. If it's not like this, if your legs don't feel comfortable like this, maybe you want to sit up on a block or build up some pillows underneath you if need be. Or maybe you just extend a leg if your knee is not happy like that today. So make sure to honor yourself here. To me, that is true yoga. Yoga is not only about making these shapes with our body and stretching, but it's also honoring the sensations that happen within us. And so always making a change if something isn't working for you during your practice. And don't feel like you need to match me or the rest of the group. You can always kind of walk to the beat of your own drum, if you will, and do your own thing. Stay within your bounds of safety. So let's work with some downward current, the purifying energy. As you breathe in, draw that energy to the center of your being. And then with your exhale, imagine the energy grounding down through the tailbone, through your sits bones, and into the earth. And so just keep breathing fluidly at your own pace, breathing in and gathering at the center, and breathing out and grounding the energy. This lengthens the exhale. It enhances the Apana Vayu, or the downward currents of energy. It really has a purifying effect, a calming effect with grounding qualities. And this gesture is meant to facilitate relaxation. Okay, it might be helpful for anxiety, when our mind won't stop. And on some level, Apana, the downward movement of energy, cultivates this quality of non-attachment, letting go. So my question for you today, you can ponder this, you can journal this, is what do you practice? Many things. We're practicing yoga, we're practicing breathing right now. The universe constantly is asking me to practice boundaries, to practice mindfulness, compassion, to practice freedom. So ask yourself what it is. What do you practice? And we'll practice breathing that downward energy to ground us into this earth, to calm our breath, calm our mind, and practice being here right now in your body. Now remember, at any time, If you are no longer comfortable with the mudra, with the way you're sitting, you've got to make a change. And that's practicing yoga. Feel free to keep your eyes closed. Feel free to open them. Do release your mudra and wiggle out your fingers here. Maybe make fists, maybe spread your fingers. Roll the wrists out a little bit. Let's clasp our hands together. Clasp them the way that feels natural, and just start to add some figure eights with your fists. Feel free to change the way you're sitting if it's no longer working for you. And then we'll unclasp our hands and clasp them kind of the awkward way and try to go backwards so that you're guiding with your pinky fingers. Some brain yoga. I know, it's like, hold on. Really have to concentrate sometimes. Great job. Take some practice to get that really, smooth. And go ahead and release that, and we'll shake out our hands. And let's sweep our arms out to the side. Big inhale as you scoop the arms out and up, reaching high. And as you exhale, that grounding energy floating down through the sits bones and through your fingertips. And we'll do it again, breathing in and up. And breathing out and down, grounding that energy. Let's just do it a couple more times. Feel free to just move at your own pace. And remember, if your arms don't go all the way up without pain, then don't go all the way up. Just go until your body has that limit, until it finds that end. And that's your stopping point. We've got to practice honoring our body. Nice. I'm going to do one more big breath. Reaching out, reaching up. And as I exhale, that downward current of energy, it purifies the body, grounds us completely. Now let's extend these legs out. They might be a little tired sitting like that. So however it's comfortable for you to sit, if you need a little bit of bolster underneath the knee, then having a little roll under there, or I always like to have a little bit of cushion under my seat to kind of lift me up a little bit. I want to try to sit up really tall. This is what I'm really practicing because it's not my favorite. Even sitting right like this, I can really feel my hip flexors activating. So let's practice staying here, sweeping our hands out to the sides of our body, staying in this line, this transverse plane. We're going to drop our right hand down, left hand reaches out and maybe up and perhaps over. Maybe you need to walk your right hand out a little bit, but keep your left sit bone grounded. Let's breathe. Nice work, everyone. One more big breath here. Feel that stretch, that grounding through the exhale. And with an inhale, we'll slide ourselves back to center. Let's go on over to the left. Right hand will do the reaching this time. Make sure to give yourself enough room there. So slide that left hand out if you need to, but keep the right sit bone rooted. Don't forget to breathe. Nice work. Last breath here. And with an inhale, let's fan it back up to center. All right, both hands reach up over your head, round through your back, reach for your ankles, reach for your shins, reach for your toes, wherever it is that you are today. You're going to just kind of round through that back. Imagine that each spinous process is like a little stegosaurus horn reaching out back behind you. Reach your forehead down, but the top of your head towards your toes. There's a lot to be thinking about. And breathing. Keep grounded through the sits bones and maybe through your heels. And with an inhale, reach out past your feet, through your feet, and up towards the sky. Nice job. Bring ourselves back down. Hands will ground back behind us, and we'll open our chest up here wide. So you want to squeeze those shoulder blades back. Try to get your shoulder blades maybe even to touch back there. Head can lean back to open that throat up. Nice job. Let's come on back to center. So center just right in this, it's called Dandasana, it means staff position. It's all ladies in the classroom today. So we're going to start with our left leg straight and our right knee bent. The left side of the body is the feminine side, so I just thought we'd balance that out first. We'll take a big inhale up to the sky, and we'll fold over, reaching for our left foot, our left ankle, shin. It's again, wherever you land here, the forehead is reaching down for your knee. So again, the back is kind of rounded here. However, if you choose to have a straight spine, beautiful, you will feel a different stretch. So you might kind of play with that a little bit, see what honors your body the best. Straight spine, rounded spine, maybe a little bit of both. It's like a cat and a cow. Testing out those limits of this left leg. How's it feeling today? Nice work. We'll go ahead and roll back up. All I'm going to do is separate my right foot from my left inner thigh and adjust our hips out so that you're kind of at a diagonal out towards the right. So your left leg doesn't move, but your right foot separates a little bit. And then, so if you've got a block, you could always put a block between your foot and your left thigh to create some space there. And then I'm just going to lean my belly, lean my chest towards my right foot. And that should open up your left inner thigh. So as I guide, I tend to mirror the class. So I'm actually doing my, right side right now. I know it can be confusing. Nice job. Now this can be pretty intense in that inner thigh, so you have to find the spot for you where it feels good. Let's take one more of those really deep breaths. It might be your first deep breath here. Send that breath to your inner thigh. Nice job. Go ahead and roll back up to center. We're going to do those two moves on the other side. So I'm just going to kick my right leg back out forward. Bend my left knee this time. Big inhale up to the sky. And we'll forward fold over top our right leg. Straight over. It's Janu Sirshasana, or head to knee position. We also call it figure four. The legs make that figure four position. And again, you can play with straight spine or rounded spine. Which one works better for you? Don't forget that breath, and imagine you're grounding down through your right heel and your right sits bone. Also your left sits bone, but more through the right. Last big breath here. And we'll find our way back up to center here so that we can stretch now the right inner thigh. So I'm going to just take my left foot, separate it out away from the right thigh, and adjust my hips just a little bit so that I'm comfortable. Sit up nice and tall. The chest, the belly is going to reach towards the left foot. And with that little bit of space there, it should open up the right inner thigh. So again, you can play with a straight spine, with a rounded spine. I tend to like to keep a straight spine because it allows me to feel this like conduit of energy, but I also feel more intensity. So keep that breath moving here. That's the key. Last big breath. Nice work. Pressing into the floor, we'll roll ourselves back up to center, back forward, kicking out that left leg straight ahead, maybe wiggling out those thighs. Now let's just see how it's doing about halfway through. So you can either just slide down your legs, or we'll take that big inhale up to the ceiling first, then maybe rounding over or keeping a straight spine. That's your choice. Gotta make the choice that serves your body the best. Beautiful. I love that I can hear the breath from some of you. Breathing in, creating length, gathering at the center, and exhaling to ground. Beautiful. We'll roll back up, and we'll meet in Baddha Konasana, which is feet together and knees apart. It's known as butterfly or cobbler position. Cobblers make shoes, so of course the soles come together. We'll sit nice up tall, shoulders back, and if you would like a little bit more, you can lean into that. So again, it's tall spine, chest reaching towards the feet there. You can play with rounding through your back. You might feel more through your hips there, more through the low back, inner thighs. So again, it's kind of testing out all those boundaries of your movement and seeing where it feels the best for you. Keeping your toes warm here. Great job. And we'll roll back up to center here. So again, we're going to kick out each leg from side to side. So we'll do our left leg first. You want to keep your right foot right where it is, and I'm just going to try to extend from that knee straight out so your heel will come off the mat. Sitting up nice and tall. We already did this pose. Remember when we leaned towards our foot? Now we're going to go to the side. So it's a side head to knee position, the left side of the head. So we're going to reach our left hand down the left leg, right hand reaches out towards windows perhaps, and then up towards the sky and over the head so that you're reaching side, or a revolved head to knee position. You should feel that through the ribs on the side of your body that you're reaching through. Don't forget to breathe here, my friends. That's the hardest part, isn't it? Nice job. And with an inhale, when you are ready, you just go ahead and pull yourself back up to center here. And we're going to bring it back to center. So I re-bend through that left knee, back at Baddha Konasana. Try to extend my right leg straight out off the edge there. It's crazy how simple for me this is, but as soon as I do this, I'm like, don't like that.
How does that sound again?
That's what it sound it's making. It's like these rubber bands that are pulling so tight. I like sound effects. We'll sweep our right hand or slide our right hand down. Left hand reaches out this time up to the sky. Maybe you continue over. Oh, it's screaming. It's making that sound. Nice job. And you also might feel it through the ribs of the side body. Let your head lean down to the right so that you're getting a revolved head to knee position. When you're ready, big inhale, pull yourself back up. Nice job. Meet back at the center. Ah, thank goodness. And we'll round forward into that posture. Or just stay sitting up nice and tall. Again, it's always about what you need. Let's find that grounding breath once again. Grounding through the edges of your feet, the sits bones, tailbone. Great job, everyone. All right, let's roll back up. Here's a nice challenge move for the day. So if you would like to, you can certainly move your mat lengthwise, or you can move lengthwise on your mat, or you can just extend your legs out off the edges of your mat. So if you pretend like my mat's lengthened that way. So it's up to you. If you need some cushion under your heels, maybe some blankets there. Not my favorite pose. Not my favorite pose here. I learned a lot in this pose because in Thailand I was with all these amazing yogis who were straight out and could fold forward with their chest on the ground, and I'm like, and it brought me a lot of and I had to learn this thing called mudita, which is sympathetic joy. So while we're stretching here, while you're leaning forward or pressing yourself into it to feel that stretch around the hips, I'll tell you what mudita means, and you have to practice it. And it means sympathetic joy. So it means being happy for other people's achievements without being jealous or envious. And so it's a hard one because it's like, oh, I'm going to do that one day. So we just have to keep practicing. That's the really hard part here. So let's change this up and have a little fun. We'll walk our hands back. I really love this. I call it rock star. So we're going to sweep over to the right and let your right hand drop behind you. You want to keep your arm long, palm flat. All 10 toes are going to rotate, so that means your left butt cheek's going to lift up off the ground. Sweep your left hand and reach back towards that back wall back there. Yeah, and you can kind of feel that through that left thigh, hips, I really love the way that feels. It's something different. Let's sweep over to the other direction. So I let my left hand guide me. I drop my left hand down. All 10 toes rotate to the left, and my right hand sweeps over back behind me towards the left. Nice job. If you like it, you can do it again. I really love to do this one and just continue to sweep. It's that internal rotation of the hip, which we don't get very often in yoga. We often are like always about that external rotation, that external spiral. Now, if you want to, you can try the full rock star, which creates a little bit of traction on the outer edges of the feet. I'll show you, and it's a hand press. It's not necessarily beginner. So I'm going to sweep over towards the right, and then I hoist myself up into the air. And then I drop it back down over to the left. You don't have to lift up. We showed you how to do it before. Yeah. Hoist, yeah. It's hard. It really is. It looks pretty. Keep practicing. Beautiful. Yes. It's very good. I love it. Now, let's come back to Baddha Konasana. Thank God, asana. Beautiful. So something different. I call it rock star. You know, because you're like, ta-da! So sit up nice and tall. Again, if you want to lean into that, you can. Things are starting to open up here. We've been revisiting this quite a bit. So as we revisit, I can see a difference in your body. It looks awesome, everyone. Things are stretching out. Alrighty, let's move along in our practice here. If you have water close by, feel free to grab a sip here, stay hydrated, and we'll come on to hands and knees here and get those knees stacked up. If you need a little cushion underneath your knees, a little blanket works great. I like the gardening mat. I also got some really neat little knee cushions here. So I'm going to face this way today. So whatever you might need for your knees or your wrists, and let's just start our cats and cows here. Be careful with your spine as you do these moves. When I first started yoga, these would cause back spasms for me. So kind of just moving with control, practicing that mindfulness in your body. What feels good, what's too far, what's not enough. It's kind of like we have to play Goldilocks while we're practicing yoga. Nice job. Now the hands might be getting a little sore from being on the ground, so feel free to switch to fists or switch to forearms. And if you'd like, you can also switch this movement from side to side. Some dog wags. Just warming up the body here. Stretching things out in different ways. Great job. Alright, coming back to our tabletop here. Let's kick our right leg out behind us. So we'll kick our right leg out, maybe lift up, that'll engage through your glute, and then we're going to round the spine and tap our elbow with our knee. Let's inhale and reach it back out and up, and exhale to round the spine. We'll do a couple more of those, as many as you'd like. I'm going to do 5. Nice job. Alright. So let's drop it down. If you need a little break for your wrists, feel free to child's pose, puppy pose. Give your wrists a little break. If you are ready to move on to the other side, feel free to do that. So palms come down, kick our left leg out back behind us, lifting a little bit, and then rounding and tapping. Do a couple more of those. 5 total, maybe more if you choose. And so this is kind of like a reverse crunch. Instead of crunching on our back, we're just crunching our knee in and up. So think about that core pulling into spine. Here's my last one, and then child's pose. It's pretty toasty here. I'm going to open some windows. So because this is recording, I'll go ahead and apologize if, motorcycles drive by and stuff like that. Get some airflow going. And feel free to open that window too if you need to, Patty. Okay? It's pretty toasty. So here we are in a nice child's pose. If child's pose does not work for your knees and that's too much flexion, extended cat is perfect, or puppy pose is another great option. They're all yeses in my book. So feel free to just find the version that works the best for you. You hear me say that so much, but it's because we're all made so differently. And all the things that we do feel differently in our body. So we have to make those choices for ourselves and practice that freedom. Let's go ahead and roll ourselves back up to our tabletop position. We'll go back to the right side, and we're going to start with a low crescent lunge. So just reaching your right leg back, and then heaving it forward. I kind of like move my right hand out of the way and try to put my right foot where my right hand was. And then I'm going to move my hands up to the top of my knee. And this is a low crescent lunge. But also, this is a low crescent lunge with my hands at my heart. And so is this, and this, and this. So wherever you would like your hands to be is great. Make sure you can see your right big toe. That's really important, on the inside of your right knee. And let's take a big lunge forward, keeping your head and heart upright. Nice job. So we'll press back into that foot, staying upright while you're in that lunge. And we're going to try it again. So the head and the heart stay upright as we lunge just through the right knee. You can feel it in your left thigh. Yeah, let's try it one more time. If your hands are up overhead, you are super people. In this case, super women in this class. Let's drop both hands down. They're going to come down to the inside of that foot. And the right foot, let's walk it out to the edge of your mat. We're moving now into a lizard lunge. So we're going to be visiting lunges today. I have my toes slightly pointed out so that my knee is pointed in the same direction as my toes. We want to keep that alignment happening there. I have a lot of weight on my hands right now, but I can really feel that in my left quad. So start to walk your hands forward. Maybe start to slide your left knee back if you need to. Great, that looks awesome. Yeah. And if you need to, you can even drop your weight down onto an elbow. If you're like, oh heck no, you're crazy, then maybe you get a block. Block and put that under your elbow. And if you're still like, you're crazy, then you don't have to. That's freedom. Yep, not today, you know? Not today. All right, my friends, you can press yourself back up when you're ready, back to your hands. Walk your hands back, and let's sweep that right leg back behind us. Take a little child's pose, and you're going to feel a difference between your hips. Do you feel how the front of your left thigh is kind of toasty, and the back of your right hip and butt is a little toasty? So there's this imbalance now, because through the pelvis, we've stretched forward through that left hip, back through the back of the right. So we better create the cross balance and do those two poses on the other side. Rolling ourselves up here. No rush, so if you're like, I need more breaths to rest, then please rest as long as you need. We're just moving to the left side. So I'm going to lift my left leg and then swing that leg around. It's not always pretty. It's not always pretty getting there. And then I'm going to start to make my way up so that my hands come to the top of my left thigh. I have to make some adjustments here, so I have to make sure I can see my left big toe. And then I have to choose which mudra I'd like to come to. I'll probably stay right here at the heart, but if you'd like that extra challenge today, you can reach your hands up overhead. Inhale, staying upright. And exhale, lunging the left knee forward. Ooh, it starts to open up through the right thigh and hip, and then I'll press through that foot and activate. I can really feel that in my left butt. And then I'll lunge again. Control. Practicing control in this shape. Nice job. From here, big inhale up through the head, maybe even through the hands if you want, but then they're going to float down. Move your left hand to the inside of your left foot and heel toe your foot, your left foot, out to the edge of your yoga mat. Your toes point out slightly so that as you come down into that lizard lunge, your knee is pointed in the same direction as your toe. Now you can stay on your palms right here. You want to start to lower your right thigh towards the mat. It's a lot. It's a lot of stretch there. So if you can, if you want to take that pressure off of your hands, you might try coming down onto a block or onto your elbow on the block or on the floor or even a blanket. But if it's too much, you have to have the discernment and practice that discernment and make sure to honor you. Nice big breaths. When you are ready, press back up to your palms and move that left leg back around, back to hands and knees, back to tabletop, and we'll explore that child's pose, that puppy pose, that cat pose once again. Find the option that works best for you so that you can now feel the warmth, that toastiness on the front of your right thigh and slightly in the back of the left. Let's take a big grounding breath. Breathing in to gather at the center. Breathing out to ground through the shins, through the knees, the tops of your feet. Beautiful work, everyone. Let's start to roll up to hands and knees. Again, if you need more time, honor that in yourself. We'll find our first downward facing dog. I'm going to walk my hands one hand print forward. Tuck my toes and roll up into that downward facing dog. Your legs don't have to go straight and your heels never need to touch the ground, so don't worry about that. Just start pedaling out, pushing through those hands. They're getting stronger. Spread the fingers and make sure that the pressure isn't just going through the heel of the hand, but also through the fingertips. Look towards your hands and let's start walking forward. You can even walk your hands back towards your feet. So you just want to make your way to a forward fold so that you're reaching down for your shins, your ankles, your toes, your knees. You could be really rounding here, or if you really need to keep your back straight, you can make that an option too. So let's lift halfway to our shins, to our knees, shoulders down. It's the half forward fold. It also kind of looks like a figure 7. One more breath. Big inhale. As you exhale, bend forward, rounding into that. Now, if again, you are a person who needs to keep their back straight, let me show you a trick. You just bend your knees a lot, genie cross your arms, and rest your elbows on your thighs. And so you're still squatting, you're still kind of in a forward fold, but your back is staying long and straight here. One more breath wherever you choose to be. If you're hanging like a rag doll or holding yourself up halfway, it's up to you. Let's sweep our arms out like a bird. Press through the legs. They're getting stronger, reaching up to the sky. Inhale at some point. Exhale right down to the heart. Nice work. Let's ground. And let's remember a couple things that we are practicing right now. Practicing yoga, practicing pranayama, which means breath control or breath freedom. Practicing moving our body, mindfulness, discernment. Breathe in right here. Exhale, let your hands come down to the side, ground through your body, Apana, Vayu, and then inhale up over your head. And we'll exhale to a forward fold. I'm going to bend my knees for this, keeping my back as straight as I can by bending those knees and resting my belly on my thighs. With an inhale, I'm going to just straighten one leg. I did my right leg first. And then I'm going to exhale and I'm going to bend both knees. And then I'm going to straighten just my left leg. And I feel that hammy stretch, and then I bend both knees. Now if your fingers don't reach the floor, it's okay. They can hover, or you can reach on blocks. Nice job. Let's do a couple more of those. Just moving through the hips. Inhaling to maybe straighten. Exhaling to bend both. And then last one here. Nice job. Let's meet at that figure 7, that half forward fold. I raise my back up halfway, lift my back, reach forward with my head, reach back with my tailbone. Pull the belly button in and up. Think about cinching the waistband all the way around your spine. One more breath. Exhale to bend your knees, to be able to get low enough to get fingertips on the mat. I'm going to step one foot back. I don't care which one. Both hands down, then step the other foot back and push through the hands on the way for downward dog. Looking back at your toes, you can walk that out a little bit to stretch into your calf muscle. Now even while you're here, think about your belly button being pulled in and up towards your tailbone. Nice. Now let's look towards our hands and roll forward into a plank like you're going to do a push-up. Now I suck at push-ups, so I'm going to drop to my knees. Girly push-up. And then I'm going to lower myself down. Bend through the elbows, lower through thighs, belly, and chest. Let's take a little rest here. So let's stack our hands. Elbows might come out to the side, and you can rest a cheek on your hands. Whichever cheek, maybe it's your chin. Now even while you're here, you're in a back bend. Your lower back is being pulled down through that lumbar curvature. So if this is enough back bend for you, stay right here. If you'd like to press up, we're going to move through a Sphinx sequence. So I'm going to just sweep my fingertips back forward with my elbows by my side, and I'm going to assist myself a little higher by walking my elbows underneath. Now again, you have to tune into your back and ask it if that's enough, if that's too much. Now, here we are in assisted Sphinx pose. You feel like the Sphinx in front of the pyramid? Yes. And so we're going to push ourselves up onto our elbows and lift through the chest. Nice job. Now, that's shoulder girdle, so let's practice that. The shoulders can then slide back towards the spine and then kind of like sag. And then I'm going to activate and slide my shoulder blades off and lift up through my chest, and that back bend intensifies, and then I sag a little bit and get a little lazy with it. So that's a really great way to activate those shoulder girdles. Shoulder girdles. A lot of people aren't aware of that shoulder girdle and how that shoulder blade slides around on the ribs. Nice job, everyone. Now from here, still, if you want more, you could start to lift your elbows up and almost come into an extended Sphinx, but that's a little bit too much for my back today. So find a spot that works for you. When you want to come back down, come back to Sphinx. Walk your elbows out. And we're lowering down. Now let's reverse that. We just kind of press down through that low back. So let's come up to hands and knees, round like a mad cat, and slide back to a child's pose or a puppy pose. Nice. Find the spot that works for you. Move slow so that you can gauge where that spot feels good compared to something that may be moving too fast and cause something to get caught. Great work, everyone. Let's take a couple more breaths, just grounding here. Practicing grounding. And that internal intuition, that intelligence tells you to lift up to hands and knees once again. Feel free to move to tabletop position. And we're going to move through some other styles of lunge. We're going to get higher this time though, so tuck your toes. Roll up to hands and knees. And let's do our right leg first. So we'll reach our right leg back. Maybe reach it up in the sky if you want to get really kind of dramatic with it. And then I'm going to try to step just my right foot forward. And it's okay if it's not that far forward. We can come up to standing to make some adjustments here. Come on up, get your balance. It's kind of the hard part, so you might have to walk your feet a little closer together, and then when you come up, you can walk them a little farther apart. So we're going to find Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1, and that means your right toes are facing forward, your left toes are also facing forward, or slightly out at a 45. If that's the case, your heel can be lifted. So you can choose, you know, so if your heel and toes are at a diagonal, it might be flat, but if your toes are facing forward, your heel may be lifted. Both are considered warrior one. Nice job. We're going to bend through that right knee a little deeper. Now we're really getting into that high crescent lunge. We want our core facing straight to the short end of our mat there. And if you'd like, again, you can lift hands to heart. Lift them to your head. Lift them over your head. Any mudra that feels good for you. This is called Warrior One. Virabhadrasana A. One more breath. Let's sink a little deeper through that right knee. Nice job. Go ahead and lengthen it up. Drop the arms down. We're going to next be moving into Warrior Three. It's a balance. So I'm going to step my back left foot in about halfway. And I'm going to ground through that right foot and pretend like there are roots growing beneath my right foot. My left foot's going to start to lift up off the ground behind me, even if it's just an inch. It's Warrior Three. Your toe could stay grounded this whole time. That's Warrior Three. So I have my right foot forward, my left foot back, and that back foot starts to lift, even if it's just an inch. As that leg gets stronger, you can start to teeter-totter over, but I really feel it in my right butt. That butt is really active. So when you're done, come to standing. And that butt's on fire. I don't see any smoke. We're doing good. So walk it out a little bit. Walk it out. Our next move is Warrior Two. So I'm actually going to move this way, or else I'm going to be facing away from all of you. And I don't want to face away from all of you. So I'm going to ground through that right foot once again. I'm going to kick my left foot back, and I'm going to step it as far back as I can. And then I'm going to drop my heel down. So all of you in class will be facing towards the mirror here. Right foot towards me. Left toes are going to face the mirror towards the left. Here we go. So if you look down, your right heel is kind of lined up with your left heel, and then your left toes point out, so they're making a 90-degree angle here. From there, we bend our right knee over the ankle, and you can sweep your arms out, and you're in Warrior Two, or surfer pose is the American term for this posture. Nice job. Let's do some variations of surfer pose. Let's do extended side angle. So I'm going to drop my right elbow to the top of my right knee and sweep my left hand up to the ceiling. If you'd like to, that hand can continue forward over your head towards the front of the room. So it's your left hand reaching up, over towards the front of the room, over your left ear. We're going to go reverse next, so don't worry. We're doing both. Reach that left hand up to the sky. Grab onto that rope that's hanging down, it's invisible though, and pull yourself back up to center. You can straighten your legs for a moment and give yourself a little break through the hips. And then we'll re-bend through our right knee. That's the front knee that's facing me. Arms out to the side. Now we're going reverse. So I'm going to drop my back left hand down to my back left leg. So I'm going backwards this time. And then I'm going to let it slide down to my knee as I reach my right hand up to the sky. Make sure that right knee stays bent, stay committed there. I know it could be burning, it could be shaking. It's getting stronger. Inhale and fan yourself back up. Straighten the legs. Ah, thank goodness. Now let's do a quick Padottanasana, which means wide-legged forward fold. So take your right toes that are facing me and rotate them forward so that they're facing the mirror. I might turn my toes out slightly, actually, 45 degrees. You know, there's gray area. It doesn't have to be straight in any direction. I do want to keep my knees a little bit soft, and I'm going to start to fold at my hips, reaching my chest straight down, and then I might even be able to reach the floor or blocks at some point. So you can stack those blocks up and start to just fold forward, wide-legged. You should feel inner hamstrings. It's a lot, so make sure to discern and find that spot that works for you. Nice job. It's looking great, everyone. Let's bend through our knees. We come into a saddle pose. We're going to call it goddess pose today. because it's all our ladies here. So I'm pushing into my feet. The knees are pressing out to the side. You're in a saddle on the horse. Horse pose is another name for this. And if you like, you can lift your hands up like cactus arms. Nice job. Go ahead and press through the feet. Reach up like a 5-pointed star. And we'll release the hands down. And we're going to do a really pretty transition where we're just going to hop or step to the front of the mat. So rotate towards the right and step forward. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to do the other side next. So I'll come this way this time. So let's take a big inhale up to the sky. We'll exhale to forward fold. Bend through those knees. All right, we're just going to step our right foot back so that our left foot stays forward. And we're going to make our way up into a warrior one. So I'm going to make my way upwards with my upper body. I want my back right foot. I either want my foot to be straight forward with my heel lifted, or I want my foot out to the side with my heel grounded. Those are some options. Extended warrior one and warrior one. So then the left knee just points straight forward. Our core points straight forward. And then you can find your mudra wherever you'd like your hands to be for warrior one today. Bending a little deeper if you choose through that left knee. It's just going to make it more intense, so you have to discern. Go ahead and open your arms out to the side. We're going to fly into warrior three. So I always step in halfway. Right foot steps in a little bit. I get myself my balance. My left foot, the front foot, that's my rooted foot. So I'm going to roll my weight onto my left foot. My right foot, the back foot, might start to lift. You can really feel your left glute. Your butt is active, holding you to the ground. I see your ankles moving, that's good. Stabilizing muscles. Nice job. Now go ahead and come to standing for a moment. Walk it out a little bit. Nice job. And next up, we're going to move into a warrior two position. So, left foot needs to stay forward, and I'm going to step that right foot far back on my mat. And then I'm going to turn my toes out to the right. So right toes are turned out to the right, left toes are turned to the top short end of your mat. Looks great. Then we want our left knee, that's the one pointed towards me, to be stacked over your ankle. And we're going to rotate our chest now towards the long end of our mat, so towards the windows here in studio. Opening the arms out to the side, surfing on your yoga mat. Looks really good. Nice shape, beautiful lines, everyone. A little bit of shakiness, which means you're working. Let's do our extended side angle, so towards me. The left elbow drops onto the left knee. We can stack our bones, and the right hand reaches up to the sky. You can continue that hand forward if you like. Now if you're working on core strength, you could always slip that elbow off and just let your core hold you there. Nice. Reach up with that right hand. Grab onto an invisible rope and pull yourself back up. Nice. Straighten the legs for a moment. And then we'll do the reverse, or peaceful warrior. So I'm going to rebend my left knee. Arms come back out to warrior two. And then I'm going to drop my right hand back towards my back right leg. Left hand reaches up to the sky. And I start to just slide down that back right leg. Nice. Commit to your left knee being bent. If you don't like this, feel free to come out early. It's no problem making that discernment. Reach up, pull yourself up, back to center. We'll straighten both legs, relax the arms, and we are going to rotate that left toe forward so that all 10 toes are facing towards the long right side of your mat. You might turn them out slightly, Padottanasana, so you want to fold through your hips. I kind of pretend like I'm mooning the person behind me, and then I just reach my hands down for blocks or for the floor. And then I have to find the right amount of bend in my knees so that I still feel a little stretch, but my legs are not locked. So we don't want to be locking or hyperextending the legs. I like to add a little shift through my hips here, and I can feel things moving through the pelvis, through low back a little bit. Nice work. And then I'm going to have you bend through your knees, once again coming into that goddess position. And this time, we'll walk our hands up to the top of our knees. We're going to sit a little deeper into that saddle. This is a shoulder and rib stretch. It feels really good. I love this one. So we want to dip our right shoulder forward and pull our left shoulder back and look back over the left shoulder. Looks great. And then we'll go the other way. Just once is fine, but if you like it, you could do it again on each side. Getting those ribs and shoulders to shift, the neck a little bit. Nice work. Nice work. When you have had enough, start to come back through to center, press straight through the legs, press through the feet. We're going to heel, toe the feet together. Nice job, everyone. Now let's get down on this mat and relax a little bit. You deserve this. This Shavasana will be sweet. So however you want to get down, you can just kind of crawl down onto the ground. You can do a half salutation if you want. Everyone's like, let me get down on this floor. Use your blanket for a pillow or roll under your knees if you'd like. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to use my blanket or a block, or a pillow or something like that that you might have around. And I'm going to do a bridge, so I'm going to lift my booty up, pushing onto my feet, and slide my blanket underneath my low back, underneath my hips. And that's going to give me a little bit of lift here. Today I'm going to practice waterfall position. And waterfall position means I can lift my feet up off the ground, and my knees are straight up over my hips. You could also extend your legs so that your legs are extended with your feet stacked over your hips. And so this is considered an inversion. Your legs are higher than your heart. All the blood is starting to fall, waterfall, and pool into your upper body. Your circulatory system has to work here to really push that blood up to your feet now. It's opposite of how we live our life. So it's very good for our circulatory system to have to work this way in a way it's not used to. Practicing new things. Now, of course, if this becomes just too much and your feet tingle and things like that, and or you don't like the way it feels, then bending your knees is good. Pulling your knees to your chest is good. Just laying on the ground is good. Using that discernment to choose what serves you in this time. At any time, you can make the choice to come to a restful Shavasana, which is feet flat. Imagine all the energy grounding through the back side of your body. Back of your head, shoulder blades, elbows, sacrum, calves, heels. Perhaps bringing back to play the Apana Vayu mudra, the Apana Vayu breath, allowing your body to ground through whichever areas are touching the floor. Remind yourself of what it is that you practice. Direct your awareness back to your breath. And direct your awareness to your hands. Where are they placed? How do they feel? And bring movement back to them. Awareness to your feet. Where are they? How are they placed? How do they feel? Bring a little movement back. Of course, you can use that discernment to say, I need to lay longer. Feel free to stay in Shavasana as long as you like. If you have anything under your hips, you might remove that here, lowering your back to the floor all the way flat. Perhaps even bending your knees to bring your feet flat and rocking your legs from side to side like window wipers. Feel free to stay. Feel free to roll to a side. Feel free to roll to a seat. As we come back through into our body and bring that awareness back in after a gentle rest, I might just take a quick scan, see how everything's feeling now, an hour later. It's okay if the answer isn't amazing and better. Sometimes yoga or stretching awakens us to things in our body that need more work, more love, more awareness, more strength. So just taking those notes. Taking your yoga off the mat, practicing off the mat, whatever it is that you need to practice. Thank you for joining me here today. In yoga, we say the word namaste, which means the supreme sweetness in me honors the supreme sweetness, that divine light inside of each one of you. And that same sweetness, that same divine light that pervades the entire universe. Namaste. And Shukriya. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you,
You should
Ann.
be proud of yourself. Yoga's not easy, that's for sure. Take it easy today, everyone, and we'll see you next time.